shoot. Pull back, step back three. Bottom!
The handoff. Jones for the tie. Oh, he's fouled! And one! He's still loose. Doherty the heave. Oh, my God!
Southern Utah is going to do something they've never done. Go to the NCAA tournament.
What's up, everybody? Another episode of the Straight Out of Whack podcast on this Whack Wednesday. Today, it is Seattle U women. Well, I shouldn't say just today, because I did UTRGV men's basketball with Matt Fieger earlier today, this afternoon. We have one of the newer, I shouldn't say one of the newer, one of the newest coaches in the WAC, and Skyler Young from Seattle U, who takes over for Susie Barkham. Skyler, appreciate the time today. How you doing? How's the weather treating you? I know that you're basically a Pacific Northwest guy, right?
Well, I guess you say now, but I'm originally from the Midwest. But yeah, the weather is great. I love this. I'm from Michigan originally, so I will take these winters over those winters anytime. So,
do you like that do you like that it's going to probably rain 85 to 90% of the time in Seattle, or is it just? Do you like that better than the snow and the freezing weather?
Absolutely. You don't have to go outside and scrape off your car every single morning with snow and ice. Warm up your car for 15, 20 minutes. Just get it and go. And the rain's not that bad. I mean, it rains, but I mean, it's off and on, as we all know, kind of being out here. So, and we play indoor sport, so it doesn't matter, right?
That's the best part. Is it's an indoor sport, so you don't even have to worry about the weather. Well, I mean, except for travel, but overall, that's awesome. Scott, I want to ask you, what's it been like taking over at Seattle U? You know, I know that they're really excited for you to be there with the success you had, you know, as an assistant at Portland. What's it been like for you throughout the summer and now as you get ready for a new season?
You know, it was awesome getting here in the spring, being on the quarter system. Was able to work with the team for 10 practices just to kind of implement the standards we have and the pace of play. And then obviously getting a full staff here at the beginning of June, mid-June, getting everybody on board, ready to go out on the road recruiting. It's just been an awesome experience, and definitely working with this young group. We do got a few seniors, but we got quite a few sophomores, one junior on our team, two juniors on our team. So it's fun. It's fun right now. They're all embracing it. It's no pushback. They love the freedom of play. They love the style of play. They know it's hard work, though. That comes with the passion and the hustle. You got to work to be good. So everything's great. Can't complain.
What's it been like for you, I should say, you lost some pieces from the roster, you know, before you took over. What's it like for you as you put together a new roster, maybe new faces? And even if you get some returners, like how do you have them buy into what you want to do as a coach from what Susie Barkham was doing with them before?
I think just communication. We talk about our culture. I won't go through the whole spiel, but every letter means something, and you got to buy into it. And the first thing in culture, I'll just go with the first two words, which are the most important, is confidence and unity, creating that confidence and telling them we can't, as a coach, we can put things in order to instill confidence, but we can't give you confidence. So trying to get them to have self-confidence when they wake up and look in the mirror that they're capable of doing the things we're asking. Has been no pushback. Didn't have a lot of turnover. I know I'm not Phil Jackson or a Zen coach, but just a different philosophy behind it. Didn't want to come in and just, you know, blow up the roster and take a bunch of transfers right away. I want to get to know these individuals, see who fits. They're all buying in. Kept it small this year. We do have a small roster because, as we know, can't be naive. The transfer portal, you do got to look at that. The way this game is recruited now, having spots open when the portal starts popping, I like to say, in next spring. Because when I got the job, it was April. It was already picked over. We were very selective. We did bring one grad transfer who is a great addition, has championship pedigree, and wants to work hard. And I think she's setting the tone for our team right now. So that's the strategy behind what we're doing, kind of. But that's where we're at.
Scott, I want to ask you, you know, what you know about the WAC. I know that, you know, you were at Portland, which is in WCC, and that's some good women's basketball there. What do you know about the WAC, and what kind of excites you about the challenge as a head coach in this league?
Familiar obviously with Seattle U. We played them at Portland a couple times. Definitely GCU, Molly Miller. I know her because when I was in the MVC, she was the coach at Drury. So you kind of know people through that, and other coaches played against ACU and that staff before. I know Utah Tech staff pretty well. Actually, Cal Baptist. And I don't like to talk about people's names or anything like that, but Cal Baptist, he was an assistant at Creighton before. So I know the style of playing against Creighton and that tremendous program. Just a familiarity. I do have a lot of familiarity with his coaches. Obviously, Dan at Utah Valley was an assistant at BYU.
Yep.
So you have a familiarity what kind of everybody's going to do. And SUU, we can go down there. Tracy, was assistant before in the WCC, and now one of her top assistants was just at St. Mary's. So a lot of familiarity just with coaches and kind of the style we're going to get into. And it's just a fun league. It's a challenging league. You get contrast of styles, pressing teams that like to shoot, teams that get after you. So I love the league that nobody's the same. It's a lot of mix and match, some similarities, some differences. So I love the league. I think this is a year where it could be some parity in this league as well.
Sky, you inherit a roster with a lot of returners that were in a lot of close games last year. How helpful is that experience going to be in a WAC that is expected to be a fairly competitive conference among the upper half mid-major conferences this year?
I think it's great because they've been in those battles, and now it's for us as coaches to put them in situations in practice to see the victories in those battles and how we do that, and how we approach that is just by details. We do fundamental skills every single day. I know the players get tired of it, the assistants sometime. Everybody wants to play, but I also say you got to know how to play the game of basketball and really buy into the details of why certain moves have to happen and pivots and how you pass with outside hands. And that's something definitely, we did at Weber State, but I give credit where credit's due. I learned a lot from Michael Meek at Portland. It was in the details why we won there. There was no doubt. Yeah, we had some great players, no doubt about it. But he was so detailed and our staff was so detailed that when those close games come, the last 2-3 minutes, that's what won us the game, was just locking in the details. And that's what we're going to try to approach here.
Scott, I want to ask you, you got Portland on the schedule. They're actually coming to the Red Hawks Center on November 14th. Most coaches will say they don't want to play their former school or wherever they've been at before. You get them right out the gate. Talk about maybe the emotion it'll be for you and the success that the Pilots had while you were there, but also, wanting to beat them and put a stamp, on your first year at Seattle U.
We're just going to try to be the best team we can be when we face that matchup. But, it's going to be natural. You coach these players, you help recruit, a lot of them there. And also you have respect for the staff. I mean, they become like family, worked there with them for quite a while, and one had success. I mean, we helped reestablish the success of that program, and Coach Meek's a great coach. I think, going into that, I mean, we'll see what happens. But also, I joked with Coach Meek when we were scheduling, because I used to help him with scheduling at Portland, and then he was like, "You're right. It was hard to schedule. Like, as we become successful, nobody wanted to play Portland and Michael Meek. I mean, you know what you're about to face." And it ended up how it worked out. It had so many holes in their schedule, and I had like an extra couple holes. And he was like, "Let's do it." I was like, "Cool." But neither of us really wanted to do it at first. But that's the thing. I say, hey, it could be like, Nick Saban and, Kirby Smart or something, just going at each other that way in a fun, joking way. So, but it's going to be great. It's going to be awesome.
I like it. And, it's kind of crazy just that I don't want to say crazy. I think it's awesome, when there's holes in the schedule that you're both willing to put it together and come together because of that respect and so forth, and because you work for them. So I like it. I'm not going to lie. I like it.
And I like the fact that you chose to fill that with a D1 game versus a non-D1 game. Taking another deeper look into your schedule, a couple of nice Power 5 opportunities. UCI, who is an up-and-coming program in the Big West. Kyle, we saw what they did to GCU last year at the Bren.
Yep.
Just talk about overall the goals you have for the non-conference as you settle into the chair there in Seattle.
Our focus is just like practice every day. Our players hear me repeat it, 1% better, and that's the same thing as our schedule. We do have a challenging schedule, no doubt about it. Start at on the road. It's hard to win on the road. Tough teams win on the road, so it's hard to do that with teams like Northridge and Irvine to start with. And then you got Portland and then UW right back to back. And as you progress, we do play San Diego State out the Mountain West, Portland State, Cal Poly, and we have that mid-league games, and then we got UTSA, San Diego, San Antonio from Conference USA, and then before we start conference officially, we got Arizona, December 31st. So it's a mix and match, and the thing behind it, Adia Barnes called me for that last game, and the philosophy behind it is we're just trying to prepare ourselves best we can for conference because we're playing some light teams like our conference, but also we're trying to raise a standard here that we're not afraid of. We want to play against some of the best because you want to play your best basketball in March. So you're playing a team like Arizona going into conference season, not trying to have any locker room billboard, material. But if you play a team like Arizona and then you're playing your best basketball in March and put yourself in a situation, who you probably going to face if you end up, getting to the goal where everybody wants to be at. So we try to challenge our schedule to prepare ourselves for possibly the future, but also where there's no opponent we haven't faced, there's nothing we haven't seen. It's strategically done. We're going to see every style. We're going to see fast-paced pressing you with Portland, and then the next game you're going to see a more slow-down, grinded-out style with Washington. Just contrast the styles of how we're going to have to face. So it's preparing us for these great teams in conference that we got to play.
Speaking of conference, you talked about playing your best basketball in March. Obviously, that's kind of the goal. But you also get 2 conference games mixed into your non-conference slate. Are you a fan of that? Is it just kind of the way that it had to be with playing 20 conference games? Or would you prefer that you don't have that like conference break right in the middle of your non-conference slate?
I actually like it because I think it, the old Bill Belichick thing, don't get ready, stay ready. It's like you're playing non-conference and usually you go through the flow. Oh, non-conference doesn't mean everything. Well, yes, they do. Every game means building up. And then you got those 2 conference games and it's real right away. I kind of like that style, as long as they keep it home and home. If we had like 2 roads or 2 homes, then it's a disadvantage. But right. I kind of like that because your team always got to be ready. And then where you're at, when real conference come along, you play about 2.5 weeks. You got to count 2 conference games to get your feet wet, and then you got another couple weeks, and then you go into regular conference. I like it, and I think it prepares you for what's coming ahead. And where's your team at? Gives you a good barometer. So,
and you get Utah Valley at the Red Hawk Center, and then you got to go to Cedar City to start the month of December. Have you been to? I'm assuming you've been to Cedar City before, so you know how difficult it is to get there, right?
Absolutely. On Weber State, we will bust down there. So I guess we're flying to Vegas or something and then dropping up. So been to Cedar City quite a few times. I can't remember the burger spot there, though. It was a really good burger place I went to.
Oh, that's a good question.
Sorry.
I'll have to look into that.
Skyler, Peyton Howard had a pretty solid year last year among your returners. But I wanted to hit on your newcomers. Who from your group of newcomers do you expect to make a splash right out of the gate?
Well, we only got one true newcomer, is Ana Interante. She's a transfer from Bradley, grad transfer. She can shoot it, and we like to shoot the ball. Not going to give too much. I know the Utah Tech staff got her scouted because I worked with one of their assistants at Weber State. So we're going to be fun to watch. So she plays right in the style we do. As you said, with Peyton and then Irina coming back, they fit right in the style. They're embracing it, want to play more up-tempo, and that's what we're doing to kind of complements the way they like to play. And we got a lot of great players. I mean, Maya, Noemi. I mean, all of them. I could go on and on. Esther, Michaela, everybody is contributing right now in practice and hungry. Even some of the other seniors, Ramona, Aaron, in practice that didn't play much. They're coming into a different system where the way we play and how small our roster is, everybody has to be ready for that opportunity. And I think they see that. So we got a lot of players that all of them, and forgive me if I missed anybody's name, but they all can help contribute.
Who have been your leaders early on so far, and from a vocal, leadership perspective, losing that many close games in sequence like the team did last year had to take its toll. So who has been the kind of boost to the group with the transition to you?
I think it's been a blend of people. Honestly, right now, comes from our coaches right now because they're trying to figure out their voices and how to communicate. Like when we talk about working on the culture, we're talking about a lot of things because you could yell something, but how do you communicate where your teammates can embrace it? So different players, different day. People are growing. Obviously, you have your upperclassmen like Peyton now speak up, but then you have people like Juliana Walker, that name I didn't name, who transferred from Syracuse to now she's starting to find her voice, and she's very quiet. So people are starting to gain that confidence in practice. Ramona is saying things. She said a really good thing after practice yesterday, like we got to bring more energy, and that's somebody who really didn't play a lot that is embracing in this role of, let's get this done. So I think it's a great problem to have because you don't have just one leader. Anybody can lead in different ways. We can have a leader in the locker room, which you need, a leader in the weight room, on the court. So I like where it's going. I can't point out just one leader. And there's an L in our culture, which is leadership, and anybody can be a leader in any given moment. So,
Sky, you talked about Juliana Walker kind of coming in, and you have Peyton Howard and Ramona. They're all from the Seattle Tacoma area. Like talking to Chris Victor, who is the men's coach up there at Seattle U, he has a couple of guys that are from that area too, and he talks about how different their mentalities are and wanting to represent Seattle, and wanting to represent that area. Do you ever talk about that with these players that are from the area and say, this is your time to show what you can do to your home fans or what Seattle basketball has to offer, not just the university, but like the area in general?
I have not, Kyle, really addressed that with them. Maybe in private conversations, you say something to represent, but not as a whole group. Because, we got players like Maya from Milwaukee and Lisa and Esther, from Denmark that I do try to say, what you said not to say is represent Seattle U, which you do represent the city because you come here. And if you're here for 4 years, this becomes your home. Right. I think Giannis said it the other day. He said, I don't say I'm from here. I'm from Milwaukee, when people ask him where he's from. And that's where I try to implement, like, you're representing not just Seattle U, the school. We are the school with, I got a point here, with the city name in it. You know what I mean? So you're representing the city. You are the school that's representing the exact city. So understand that. But there is some private conversations, and you can tell some people want to show the city that they played in to what they're about. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah. Yeah. I also want to ask you, you talked about,
oh, it's that thing. Yeah.
Did you guys get that too? I just got.
I think it's the testing thing.
We might have to cut this out, but everybody else got the alert, so everybody will know what time it was when we were recording this today.
Yeah,
it's
the testing.
But I want to ask you. You talked about your roster. I think Ramona's the only one over. Is that right? She's 6'2". Maya Moore is 6 foot, but and Michaela Moore is 6. Michaela, Arena, and Lisa. So, like you said, there's not a lot of size. So, are we going to see a team that likes to get up and down the floor? You talked about Portland, how they like to press. Is that kind of what you're going to try to instill, at Seattle U?
Now you want me to give them a whole bag?
You don't have to go into your in-depth scouting report.
He's trying to do, Daryl. He's trying to give me the whole bag. No, but if you go back and watch yeah, we're going to get up and down. I mean, we won't press necessarily like Portland just because we do have different philosophies. We will press. We will press some. Um, but offensively, we'll get up and down. It's going to be transition-based basketball. It's not walk it up. At times, you're going to have to run sets and stuff, but we want to, you know, attack in numbers and advantage and really play the game of basketball, not just run plays. There is a difference, and that's what we're teaching players how to play the game of basketball. So when we run plays and you play against a good defensive team and they take away your first and second option, you know how to play out of that. Offensively, but defensively, we're going to get after you too. So, yeah, it's going to be a fun style to watch. And anybody that kind of seen some different places I coached in the past too, it's a little blend of everything that I learned. I've been a lot of places. So we got a lot of tricks in the bag.
Sky, when you saw the job open up at Seattle U and you decided to throw your name into the hat, and they eventually offered, did you feel like you were inheriting a rebuild just because of that recent NCAA tournament trip in 2018? Or is this a revamp, retool type situation?
Well, I think it's, it could be a mixture of both. I mean, I'm not going to talk about the predecessor too much, but Susie did it, a pretty good job. I mean, she went to NCAA tournament. So I wouldn't say I think it's a blend of both because a lot of these players, we do have a lot of sophomores that weren't here in 2018. So it is kind of a rebuild of a different mentality behind it. But I always say treat every team as their own unique selves and not look at the past. It's like driving a car. I always use this analogy. You could peek in the rearview mirror, but if you just stare in it, what's going to happen? You're going to crash. So we can peek back what happened in the past, good, bad, or indifferent, but we got to focus forward in the future. And, one thing I said, you never know, and I don't like putting glass ceilings on the team. This is why I say 1% better. And, I give praise to Coach Meek and what we did the first year together at Portland. We had a team that people will say overachieved, but they just worked every single day. And how does that team beat a Gonzaga team with players of the year, a couple all conference players? We're just trying to get better every single day. So I don't know what it is yet. You can ask me in February, then I could probably tell you where we're at. But I don't know. Right now, you never know. Sky's the limit. They're eating it up. They want to get better, and that's the key to anything. You taking over a program is how invested the players are into it and your philosophy. Right now, we're not talking about, next year. Right now, it's like, let's get better every day. And let's dangle that carrot a little more because they're starting to chase and they're hungry for it. So I think it's a blend of both, Daryl. Great question.
Is this the most geographically diverse conference you've ever coached in?
Oh, my goodness. I mean, we're all over the place. We're like the mid-major Big Ten here pretty soon, huh? We're going everywhere, right? Nah, it's cool. I mean, we're the most northern, obviously, school. But yeah, this is the furthest you ever had to go. The travel's not bad. The way they schedule, they do a great job. Our league. There's a couple things that happen, but that's natural when you're playing 20 conference games. But one thing I do like for the student athletes just going in life, they get to see different places. And different cultures because it is different sectors of the country. I mean, Seattle's different. You go to California, that's different. Utah's different. Texas is different. And GCU, Arizona, Phoenix, Arizona is a different culture down there too. So I do like that part of it. So
yeah, it is very different. Let's just put it that way. Well, I got one question for you since you've been on the West Coast for a long time. Did you ever think that the Pac-12 would disintegrate like it did as quickly as it did?
No, and I think some people are scratching their head right now the way these football teams are playing. Like, oh my goodness, we're like the top team, the top conference, probably next to the Big Ten and of course the SEC, at least in the top 3 in football right now in the country, and it's unbelievable. But hey, Greens talks. Let's just put it that way.
Yep, agreed. All right, Sky, I got to put you on the spot here since I do it with every coach.
Okay.
Go-to snack, going home from a practice or, need something to snack on in between a practice or on a trip or something. Like, what's your go-to snack?
Man, Okay, I'm trying to get in shape because I was telling the team if I'm gonna make you run like this, I'm gonna look the part too. So, but if I had to go back, it's a whatchamacallit candy bar
Oh yeah.
and a Dr. Pepper.
There it is. I finally got a coach to say a Dr. Pepper on this podcast. I've been waiting for one, but yeah, that's awesome. I like it. Whatchamacallits are old school.
That's
Like,
old school. Yeah, I'm getting old.
love it. I love it. And then one last question.
Yep.
Since you're from Michigan, are you a Lions fan or are you going to become a Seahawks fan? You gotta tell the Seattle fans who you're going to be rooting for.
No, I'm a Lions fan. Tried and true. This is our year. I put it on my Instagram earlier this week. It's like, this could be our year. We could get to the playoffs finally. But knowing us, something always happens. So we'll see. I will stay a Lions fan forever.
I love it. I love it. Daryl, you got anything else for Skyler Young?
I'm good, Kyle.
All right, Sky, we appreciate the time. And I picked up the Lions on a bunch of my the Lions defense on a bunch of my fantasy teams this week. So, hopefully they continue to do what they've been doing. So appreciate the time, Sky.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate you guys.
Thank you,
Darren.
Sky.
Thanks, Kyle. Yep.
Everybody enjoy the rest of your Whack Wednesday.
Thanks for listening to the Straight Outta Whack podcast. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and other podcasting platforms. Be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. Remember to follow us on Twitter at Whack Hoops Digest and Facebook under Whack Hoops Digest for all your Whack Hoops news and information.